Hey there, creepy peeps. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome back. If you are returning, today I'm gonna tour my bookshelves and DVD shelves with you guys. So I asked you guys on Instagram if you would like to see a tour of like my bookshelves and my movie shelves and all the little knickknacks and things, and you guys said yes, which wasn't really all that surprising because I've been getting comments on multiple videos where you guys want me to like show you all of this stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. All in one video too. So this is gonna be extremely long. I already know it's extremely long because I already filmed the bulk of this. Really quick, just a small disclaimer, not disclaimer, but just to like get this out of the way so I don't have to answer this a bunch of times in the comments. A lot of my knickknacks and stuff are from subscription boxes, and I feel like almost like 3 years ago now on my channel, I used to do unboxing videos like all the fucking time. Like to the point where I would have to like make a video and unbox like 2 things because I used to just get so many subscription boxes. From my own money, I used to buy them. If I can't remember exactly what subscription box something came from, I'm sorry, there's no way I'm gonna be able to remember where whatever Funko Pop came from, you know, unless I bought it, in which case I will point that out because I do remember the ones that I've purchased with my own money, like just by themselves. But yeah, just to let you know that. There's also quite a few things that have been gifted to me from you guys, my lovely subscribers. Extremely generous. I understand that I am extremely lucky to have subscribers that are nice enough to send me things, which I did not ask them to do. They just did that because they're extremely kind and generous. Those things I obviously remember, so those will be things that I point out, like this was given to me by so-and-so. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Probably introed this long enough. This is going to be an extremely long video, so here you go. Here's a tour of my bookcases and my movie shelves. To the bookshelf portion of this tour. All of my books are in my room, so that's where we are right now. Just to quickly go over any potential questions, yes, I have 4 different bookcases of 3 different colors. I realize it looks insane. I don't plan on living with my parents that much longer, so I just, you know, it looks crazy in here, but it's fine. It's functional for what I need. So I'm gonna save the bookshelf that you all want me to go over for last because, you know, I'm not dumb. I know what you're here for. And I'm gonna make you wait for it, or I'm gonna make you just skip ahead in the video, which is also possible. We're surrounded by books. We're surrounded by books in here, so we got a lot to go over. So I'm going to start with this shelf right here, which I think is going to be the shelf that you guys are the least interested in. So really quick, just on the top of the shelf, sorry, the lighting's bad. This is my light source right here. These are my current reads for the month. I've finished these 3 already, which you can't really see, but I'll go over it next month. And these 4 I'm still reading. And also next to my bed, I have a whole bunch of bookmarks because yeah, you can never have too many bookmarks. And then I have a little cup for like little like page flags, my Goosebumps book light, pen, pencil, stuff like that for books that I, some books I like annotate. I don't like write in them anymore, but especially like the Creepy Book Club book, I tend to make notes and stuff, so I need little things to write on. So that's up there. Coming down to the first shelf, this is probably the shelf you guys are least interested in for the most part. So I have my books divided into subgenres, I guess. So this is like my YA contemporary fiction, so not supernatural, not paranormal, nothing like that. As you can see, I have a lot of Sarah Dessen. For whatever reason, like when I was a teenager, I just really love Sarah Dessen books. I've read all of her books. I don't own all of her books, but these are my faves that I read. I love Sarah Dessen. I don't know why. Some of these I've talked about like briefly in like book wrap up videos, and yeah, I read almost all of these exclusively like in high school, I think, with the exception of like these three right here. Yeah, and then at the end, really, really quick, if it's gonna focus, I have some middle grade books. These all fit perfectly, and then I just had to buy these two books at a used bookstore. I'd never heard of Fright Time, and so, oops, oh, down goes one. So I just happened to pick up these two because I'd never heard of Fright Time. Goosebumps, yes. Fright Time, no. So these are also for young readers, as are these. So these are like middle grade books, but I love them. Fever, this poor book is so well loved. I've read it so many times. It's kind of ironic. Look how bad that is. It's kind of bad that the pages are so yellow, and this is a book about yellow fever. Also got Tuck Everlasting, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, and The Tiger Rising by Kate DiCamillo. Let's go down to this shelf here, and this I've kind of dubbed like the classics shelf. So with the exception of like three of these, yeah, like 1, 2, 3 of these. I've read all of these when I was in high school and in college getting my undergrad. Obviously, I read a whole lot more when I was in school, for school. These are the ones like I kept, and because I actually liked them. I actually enjoyed reading them. The ones that I hated, I got rid of. As you can see, some of these are very heavily annotated, so I don't think anyone would want these anyway. Like, you can see it still, we had to write on the books there. But yeah, some of these are so like heavily annotated because they were for school that it's like, even if I were to get rid of them, they'd probably just need to be recycled because they're a little bit too annotated, I think, for anybody to actually like want them. But it's fine though, because I like these. And then this bottom book here is a big old collection of Jane Austen. My Aunt Linda gave me Jane Austen to read as soon as I was old enough to like comprehend the reading. So I'm a big Jane Austen fan. So is my aunt. She's like part of the Jane Austen Society. It's a whole big thing. And she also sent me this little Jane Austen action figure. She comes with a little book of Pride and Prejudice, which it's probably not gonna, yeah, it's not gonna focus on it, never mind. But yeah, so I leave her sitting here next to her books. I used to have like more individual copies of the Jane Austen books, but since I had this big old collection, I just got rid of those and kept this one because it's kind of big and cumbersome, and so I'd rather just have the one here. I got lots of Ray Bradbury here, In Cold Blood, which I talked about, Great Gatsby, A Lesson Before Dying, Lord of the Flies, all the basics that you read while you're like in high school and in college. All of the tragedies essentially that they make you read in high school, which is such a bummer. Like, he wrote comedies too, you know? Okay. Keeping on the bottom shelf, just coming over to the next section. This is my vegan section. It's mostly made up of cookbooks. There's a couple of books on like actually like how to be vegan, like, so like the lifestyle, not just the diet, and stuff about like animal rights and things like that, because I'm an ethical vegan, which means I do it for the animals. So yeah, I am missing a cookbook here, actually. My first Thug Kitchen, which if you're thinking of trying like some plant-based recipes, the Thug Kitchen books I recommend above everything else. Coming up to this top section right here is my Harry Potter shelf. Wow, are we surprised that this is here? Nope. As you can see, my copies are extremely well loved, and I always toy with the idea every year, like every year at work during Christmas time, we get a really nice hardcover box set of Harry Potter, like the original like US covers. These covers, that's what I mean. And it's really nice, and it comes in like a trunk, and it's really cool. It's kind of expensive, but you know, because I'm always like, my collection is so ugly, because when I started reading these when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I was not responsible enough to take care of the dust jackets. I hated reading with them on, so I would take them off, and they would usually end up on the floor and chewed up by one of my dogs or stepped on. But when I look at, I love a good well-loved book, because, you know, I feel like it means a whole lot more if I were to give somebody, like loan somebody this book, which I would never. I would just buy them a new copy. But if I were loaning somebody a book and I hand them a book and say, this is one of my favorite books, and they can tell it's kind of worse for wear, it's been read 20 something times, they know that I really love the book, versus if I hand them one that's brand new. That doesn't mean I love it any less, but I feel like it just means a little something more. So I love my ugly Harry Potter collection, even though I don't love J.K. Rowling so much anymore. She's kind of making me fall out of love with her on Twitter, but that doesn't diminish my love for the book. So, and then I just have like some knickknacks that I've collected over the years. This is, I think there's stuff in here actually. I think I lost a lot of the pieces for it. I can't open it with one hand, but it's supposed to be Hagrid's hut, and it's got like, it had like a little dragon and Harry figure and Fang. Yeah, it was the whole thing. I got a little Funko Pop of a Thestral. This is just a little Christmas ornament that never actually goes on a Christmas tree. He just stays here. Then I have a stocking hanger, which we don't have a fireplace, so I have no place to hang my stocking. And this poor thing has been broken so many times. Like this wand is bent. Ron's wand is completely missing, although, you know, it's kind of broken, which I guess maybe could hint to Chamber of Secrets. So there's something. And Harry's missing his hand. Don't know what happened there. I've dropped this a lot of times and it's very heavy. And then I have like a little Hermione just sitting on a stack of books. And these were a collection of things that like came with charms. So there's a little, I guess with the intent that you make a charm bracelet or something. So, oh God. Oh, it's Harry's hand. Look. Guess I was hiding it in there. Anyways, what I was trying to show you was a little charm. It's a stack of books. My camera is being sucktastic today. You're gonna have to trust me when I say it's a little charm of a stack of books. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Oh God, I'm just gonna have to sit lopsided for a while. I'll come back and fix you later. And then right behind her, I just have like a little frame that's like a quote from Hermione. It says, "Actually, I'm highly logical, which allows me to look past extraneous detail and perceive clearly that which others overlook." Because I love Hermione. I also have her wand up here that I got from Universal. I have Hermione's wand. This is the wand. I don't know if I want to take the whole thing out. I'm talking a lot about Harry Potter. I'm sorry. I love Harry Potter. It comes with a map of both parks in Universal and Islands of Adventure, and this is the one. It gives you, it tells you all the spots to go and what spell to do, and you can make things like within the park like move and light up and stuff like that. I'm a giant nerd for Harry Potter. I also have some other extra little stuff here, like the little extra books they released forever ago. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Quidditch Through the Ages, Tales of Beedle the Bard, a whole bunch of extra stuff, and a plushie. Is my TBR cart. I got the cart from Michael's. It's rose gold cart. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's got wheels on it, and obviously since it's metal, I could stick some of my magnets to it. Hey, look, there's Oleg. You'll see him in my movie tour video also. So funny story about this. This is just one side of it. Unlock the wheels and I can show you the other side. Oh, look at that. So with the instructions said the weight capacity of this on each level, I think, is like 6 or 7 pounds, like per level of this. And I am almost positive that I am overweight capacity on all levels. So like my goal is to make this actually, like, I don't want it to stay this full. So my goal is to read a bunch of stuff off of here to clear it off. And if I want to buy any new books, I've created the law of the TBR cart. If I want to buy any new books, I need to take a book off of this cart and read it in its entirety, at which point then I can buy a new book. That's the law of the TBR cart. This is the bookshelf that you see immediately when you walk into my room. There's me. Hi, I don't have any makeup on. So this is my YA cart, my shelf, case, my bookcase. It's a bookcase full of YA books. Fuck. These are my YA, like, paranormal books, supernatural books, YA, paranormal romance, those things. So they're just in alphabetical order by author. I've talked about these quite a lot. Some oldie kind of favorites. I've talked about the Hollowed ones before. I really love that book. I've talked about Blood and Chocolate so many times. If I can find it, I'll link my video where I talked about this book. They made an awful movie adaptation. So if you like me ranting, I highly recommend that video. It's kind of older, so please don't make fun of my editing skills or lack thereof in that video, but it's a very good rant as to why this book is amazing and the movie sucks ass. So I faced it out. I also highly recommend The Silver Kiss, which is also by Annette Curtis Klaus, by the same author. They're both standalones, so if you need something like kind of quick to read, and they're standalones, highly recommend. Although The Silver Kiss has a very bittersweet ending, I'll just tell you that. So there's more here, and then this little signee majigger, I think was from, it was either Nocturnal Readers Box or Spooky Box Club. I can't remember which one. It was one of those though. I'm just gonna move it out of the way for a second. Just so you can see more. This one I just got at the used bookstore also. Apparently it's based on, it's like a fictionalized take on a real story about a girl who was pronounced dead and woke up on the autopsy table. And I guess in the back of the book it has like a snippet, there it is, of the article that was written about that happening, which is super interesting. Let's see. Oh, here's two books I highly recommend too. It's just a random little duology, and I don't think this series was ever continued, but I really loved it. Katie Maxwell, Got Fangs, which is the first one, and Circus of the Darned. I love it's called Circus of the Darned instead of Damned. Sorry, that just makes me laugh. All these are some really freaking cute books I read when I was like, pretty much read when I was like in the 8th or 9th grade. I think these are out of order. I think this is the first one actually. Fuck, I'm gonna have to figure that out and put them in actual order. But they're really freaking cute. They kind of like don't match the aesthetic. Like all of these are very dark and then there's these ones. But I loved them so much. They're super cute. I can't remember what the first one is. I think it might be Frocks and French Kisses or Bras and Broomsticks. I think this one's definitely the last one. Don't know why I'm going on forever about this. I've talked about this book before too. There's Someone Inside Your House, which is really good. It's a YA book, but it's really fucking scary. I'm just gonna tell you that. It's like not so much supernatural as it is serial killer, I should say. There are some of these that are not quite supernatural. They're more like serial killer-esque, but they're still YA, which is why they're here. So this one's serial killer, very scary. It's very good. Read it. Some other ones I've talked about Twisted Summer before. Oh, this is another really good like standalone one too. I don't know if you're, I mean, I feel like you should be able to find anything on like as an e-reader if you want, but some of these are kind of old. But I used to love this one too, Companions of the Night. It's a vampire story. Another standalone. Sometimes you just need a standalone to read, you know? I don't always want to read like a giant long series. Okay. And the bottom shelf. This is all the Vampire Kisses, which I talked about. I forgot to mention, they also released, I'll just grab this first one out, a manga version of it. I don't know if it's technically manga because it's not, you're not reading it backwards. I don't know what makes it officially a manga. But it's like a separate little side story. It's not like a manga adaptation of the first one or anything, but it's super cute. I don't know if they ever released anymore. If they did, I'm definitely gonna have to get my hands on them, but super cute. Just thought I'd point that out. I forgot to mention it when I was talking about Vampire Kisses the last time. So yeah. And then some of these that I've talked about already, some Maggie Stiefvater, love me some Maggie Stiefvater. Night World, I also recommend, and I'm realizing now these are in backwards order, which is bugging me, so we're gonna fix that right now. So these are, I think you can get these separately, but the way I found them in the bookstore were like this. So each of these 3 books has 3 stories in it. Does that make sense? Of course that makes sense. You guys are smart. Highly recommend these. Again, I don't know how easy it is to get your hands on them anymore. I love how I'm just talking about all these books and recommending all these books when I don't know if they're available anymore, but these were really good. And then the Sweep series, which I've talked about before. This is just a random glass skull thing that I got from Joanne. Anyways, yes, Kate Tiernan. The rest of this is Kate Tiernan also. This kind of bugs me because this was another series she did. Also about witches, and I'm missing the 4th one. There's only 4 in the series, and it really bugs me. Oh, these are out of focus. What is going on today, camera? So that really bugs me. I don't know what happened to the 4th one, but I need to get a handle on it. Witches in New Orleans. So I guess kind of if you like Anne Rice, you like that kind of vibe, would recommend that. This is also Kate Tiernan. I love Kate Tiernan. Then just really quick, I guess at the top of this bookcase when you walk in are just some little doodads. This is a fake plant I got from Joanne. This is my daily true crime calendar. You can see what day I'm filming this. Hey, look at that. It's almost Friday the 13th. This is a box that my grandma got for me. I don't know where she got it. It was when she was on a cruise. So some other country that she got this from when she was on a cruise. It holds stuff. Right now I'm using it just to hide the little battery pack for this string of like skull lights here. And the remotes for my colored lights up here. So that's what they hide. But it's just like, it's really cute, and it's like coffin shaped, and it's cool. And then this is it's a framed embroidered print. So this is embroidery. It's a quote from Dracula. Welcome to my house, come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. Because I love the book Dracula. It scared the shit out of me. And hold on, I can definitely tell you where this came from. Let me just go to the back of the bookcase here. That is where that came from. And it came framed, obviously, since the sticker was on the back. So it came just as it is. And then if you notice here, I just have some black tourmaline and some selenite for positivity, because this is right when you walk into my room. I'm actually going to get my little step stool. This is a Stella McCartney bag that my aunt got me for Christmas. It's like the most expensive thing that I own, I think. It's vegan, by the way. All of her things are high-end fashion and vegan. I just wanted to point that out. I'm very proud of it. It's very expensive. It normally sits on this step stool that I use to get to the top shelf here. And sorry, that was my slipper. Okay, up we go. Okay, so this is kind of the random area of this. I had a kind of like random selection of nonfiction books that I didn't really know what to do with. Some books on like photography, job hunting stuff, writing, grammar. I really love this book, actually. We had to read this for school. You guys are not interested in this, but I'm a nerd for grammar also, if you didn't know. I really loved this book. That's called Eat, Shoots, and Leaves. Some other books, history about like women feminism. Like, could I get any more basic? Seriously. Some random like comics, which these are pretty funny. This is called Comics for a Strange World. Some poetry. I don't have a lot of poetry, but you know, this is one of those, I think it's called internet poetry. The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. Amanda Lovelace has like 3 or 4 that are kind of like all part of this like series, I think, which is pretty good. Egghead, Bo Burnham. I love Bo Burnham, and I've talked about this one before too. The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories, which is Tim Burton. They're just short little poems with some cute, creepy illustrations. Then this little section right here, sorry, I can't back up too much, otherwise I'm gonna fall off the stool, is just regular fiction. Not horror or like thriller, just, I guess, contemporary fiction, adult fiction. So we got some basics: The Handmaid's Tale, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, The Girls, Emma Klein, Practical Magic, The Vegetarian, which I've talked about, The Night Circus and the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, who I highly recommend. 1Q84 and A Little Life. These two I'm reading as part of my reading challenge. Same with this one, I'll get to in a second. These are both book stoppers that, oh God, it's gonna take me forever to read these. And then this and this book right here make up my romance section. I don't read a lot of romance. This is also part of my reading challenge. It's gonna fulfill the challenge to read a book that's part of a series with like 20 or more books or something. I don't know how many. It's like, I think there's like 27 books in this series so far. But this is the first one. So technically it's a romance. We'll see how it goes, but it looks paranormal. So I was like, oh, well, I might like it. And then I have like The Dark Witch here too, which I think I've talked about before, by Nora Roberts. Then these 4 books right here make up my mystery section. These 3 are technically cozy mysteries. This one is a mystery, like Sherlock based. What's the series called? The Lady Sherlock series. This is also part of my reading challenge. I had to blind pick a book, so I obviously don't have a lot of mystery books, so I went to the mystery section. I had one of my coworkers pick a bay for me, and then I closed my eyes, and the first book I touched was this one. Technically the first book I touched was the 4th one in this series, but I figured I could give myself a pass because I didn't want to start on the 4th one. And then we're kind of moving into the like horror sci-fi fiction. Like sci-fi here. This is like thriller fiction, and then we get into horror. So some of these you might recognize as books that I've done for a creepy book club, or ones that I just talked about, like A Darker Shade of Magic. Yep, this one too. Axeman's Jazz, which I think I did a review for, like a full-on review just for this book. Highly recommend it. It's really good. These are just actually salt and pepper shakers, but I really don't have any use for them as salt and pepper shakers, but they're really cute as little decorations. Can't remember where I got those from. Anyways, here are some future creepy book club picks that you're gonna see on these shelves too. Flowers in the Attic is coming up. Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach, which I've talked about before. Okay, now I can get off the stool. Now the Pen Pal up there started like my horror section, or what I consider horror. Don't come for me if you see something on here and you're like, that's not a horror book, me. I don't care. This is how I organize my bookshelves. So some of these, again, I've also talked about. Ninth House, Meddling Kids, I think I talked about before. Look how that's cover porn. Is that not cover porn? The Exorcist, which was a creepy book club pick for the very beginning of this year. A lot of you guys noticed this in one of my past book videos. This was a Christmas gift from my little brother, and he said he got it on Amazon. So there's that. Got some other things in here. If you're wondering too, I have these little boxes back here that I use to face out the books, so that way they're not, it just looks better like this versus like a face out book that's like this, you know, because then like from the side you like can't really see it and it just looks weird. I copied this idea from work. I work in a bookstore and they have these things, they're taller and they're called bumper boxes, and that's the purpose of them, to face the books out like this, and it just looks nicer. But yeah, in case you were wondering, I got, these are technically like gift boxes, and I got like 50 of them on Amazon for like $15. And I used almost every single one of them. Anyways, more horror. I wanted to point out this book too, which I got from the used bookstore. It definitely looked like something out of like Paperbacks from Hell. It was in a plastic bag. I just loved the cover, even though I hate that somebody wrote the price on the cover. This was not the price I paid for it. Technically, I paid $3 for it, but I hate that somebody wrote on it. But it looks so, look how yellow those pages are. And let me tell you, the old book smell is so nice. Okay. And moving on. Oh, squat down. Actually, really quick, I have this pendant that I have attached to the bookcase, which oh, this one, it's given me a clue here. I got this from Nocturnal Readers box. It's just like super cute, is it not? So I had to like a thick, this is like the permanent shelf. I could move all of these, but this is the permanent shelf, so I just stuck it to this. So we got more horror. We got our Shirley Jackson, Almakatsu, which was another creepy book club pick. Here is the copy of Dr. Sleep that Zachary Haith was kind enough to send to me. It was really nice of you. And a hardcover, no doubt too. I do have The Shining. It's on my TBR cart. This would not fit on there, so I let it just sit on the shelf. And it like fit perfectly, and it filled the shelf perfectly, so we're just gonna leave it there for now. Other books I've talked about, The Invited, I talked about recently. I also got this one at the used bookstore too, as a first edition hardcover, The Wolves of Midwinter. I think I might make this like the December Creepy Book Club read for this year, so it's not official yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make this the December read, because I've been wanting to read this. Some more stuff I've talked about already. This is a light up skull that I think Macabrella sent to me, along with some other stuff, which I will point out later when we get to my movie tour. Here's another future Creepy Book Club read, The Devil Aspect, in June, I think. Don't quote me on that. Go to the Goodreads page to confirm. So now we've got another kind of random shelf. The theme here is kind of illustrations, I guess. So we start off with like comics and graphic novels. Sorry, I realize I'm saying like a lot in this video, like the Valley girl in me is coming out. So these are some graphic novels that I have. This technically is like nonfiction as well, because it does have all of the original comics of the Addams family as they first appeared, but it does have throughout the book information and history about the Addams family, like the comics about Charles Addams or Chaz Addams, and how each character came to be in the development of each character. So it's technically kind of nonfiction, but like I said, it has all of the comics in it also, so I just put it with the graphic novels. I also have a graphic novel adaptation of Creep Show, which is pretty amazing too. Some more graphic novels. This is a YA. I've talked about both of these, I think, in videos before. And this is a middle grade graphic novel that was just super freaking cute. Anybody that has maybe a young reader from ages like 7 to 12 would highly recommend this. Super freaking cute. This was an ARC, an advanced reader copy, so it's not fully colorized, but I'm okay with that. I obviously got it for free because it was an ARC. A random manga for Nightmare Before Christmas. These are the only 2 manga books I own right now. Uzumaki, which I just talked about in a video, so I won't go on about that, but it was disturbing. Highly recommend. Then the rest of these are picture books and like actual like little kid books, because I'm a child, whatever. I just think every year at Halloween time, we get all of these really fucking cute Halloween books like this. This is a chapter book. I'm too old for this, but look how fucking cute that is. Like, what? It's so cute. And it's just, like, I'm just vicariously living through the children of today who get all these really cute, creepy stuff for anybody, you know, like, I can't wait to see the horror fans that they become. So I bought them. I don't care. This is one that I've had for forever in a dark, dark room. This is one of the ones that got me into horror in the first place because my mom gave me that. This is a book. It's technically like a book of poetry and illustrations. My coworker got for me at a convention because she thought it, you know, was very me, which she was right. I got A Nightmare Before Christmas and a little Zero pop. I bought this one, I think. I bought it from work. Another edition of Nightmare Before Christmas because I love it so much. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. These two, they have to go on their side here because they don't fit. Oh wait, actually they do. Shit. Well, all right then. This is a little like picture book story of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is super, super cute. Any Buffy fans? They also, I think it's like technically Funko Pop that put these out. I think. Can't remember. There's the backside. It's really cute. They also did one for the Karate Kid and the X-Files too, if anyone's interested. Mother Ghosts, these are nursery rhymes. Nursery rhymes for little monsters, it says, which is so cute. Disney's The Haunted Mansion, Stella Luna, which is like my favorite picture book ever. And you can see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark back in here. I'm not going to pull it out. You guys know what it looks like. Okay, and then down here, the very bottom shelf of this is all of my anthologies. This shelf is the exception to my TBR cart because I have not read all of these cover to cover because that's not how I use anthologies. Although some of these I have finished. Like, I've completely read them cover to cover. I usually don't log them on Goodreads because how I use anthologies are as follows. If I just want to read something super quick, you can just grab an anthology, read a story or two or three out of them, and just put it back on the shelf for later. I also highly recommend anthologies if you're in a reading slump and, you know, nothing sounds interesting and you want to keep reading or want to get back into reading, get out of your slump. I highly recommend an anthology. You can just read a couple of stories out of it, and, you know, if you get out of your slump, you can keep going, grab another like full-length book. But these are great if you just want to read something super quick. And so pretty much all of these are like half read, and they'll have, like, you can see there's like a bookmark sticking in this one. It's just how I use anthologies. So this is the exception. Like, there's only, I think, 2, maybe 3 books on here that I've actually read cover to cover. The rest of these have all been partially read, but that's just how I use anthologies. These are the 2 shelves you guys were probably most interested in seeing. So we're gonna start on the left side here. This shelf and the shelf underneath it are my Witchy and Wicca books. I won't go over too many of them in detail. If you have questions about them, just leave them in the comments and I will answer them as best I can. As you can see, I do like a little bit of green and kitchen witchery, a lot of books on tarot and other forms of divination, just some informational books about herbs and gems and crystals, you know, the basic stuff. Hashtag basic witch. This little person right here, this little witch, how cute, was a present. My patrons, we did a Secret Santa exchange this past Christmas, and my Secret Santa got me this cute little, it's like Lego blocks thing. They put one out for every holiday. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, there we go. It's fixed. They put one out for every holiday, and this is the Halloween one, which is like a little witch. And it's like a little tree, pumpkin, and a cauldron. I just put the extra pieces of Legos that came with it in there. She's super cute. Then down here we have more witchy books. These are more informational, I guess. So these are about like Wicca and witchcraft in general, astrology, and then like the history of witchcraft. This is a really beautiful book, by the way. The Occult, Witchcraft, and Magic, an Illustrated History. It's a huge book. It's kind of hard to pull out, but and super thick and heavy, but really, really beautiful book. And just really quick, since I lifted it off the shelf, this was a Christmas gift from one of my coworkers. It technically opens and you can put little trinkets inside. I just kind of taped the bottom so it doesn't fall open and used it as a decoration because I thought it was really pretty. And then you might have noticed my little voodoo doll that I made for a video once is here. I'll link the video up at the top somewhere if you want to watch me make a voodoo doll. I thought he turned out so cute. And then down here, we're getting into the horror books. So some of these I had to organize in a really weird way because of the way, the height I made the shelves. And I know you're thinking like, Vicky, you could just readjust the height of the shelves. Obviously I can, but that would require me to then take all the books off the shelf and readjust it. And then I have to do it to this side too, so that they like match up evenly, which, you know, we're not gonna do. So this is just a random kids book I have down here. I just thought it was so cute. It's from Lonely Planet, Atlas of Monsters and Ghosts. So it goes through each country, not each country, sorry, each continent, and the different like lores and legends and supernatural happenings of each one. It's a kids book. We've established that I'm just living vicariously through the kids of today. This is also a gift from a coworker, the same coworker that got me that. She really spoiled me this Christmas, let me tell you what. She's crafty and she kind of made this, well, obviously didn't make the glass thing, but she filled it, and it's technically a Harry Potter thing, but it's just really cute. So she wrote, it's coarsely ground dragon femur. And then on the thing she wrote, warning, mixture of ground femur with acromantula venom will cause blindness. It's just really cute. And she put like a little dragon charm on it, and it was just super cute. And I love that she did that. She spoiled me, like I said, so that sits here, and it's nice and heavy, so I keep it on the bottom. Then we got some books on kind of like lore and myths. Lore. These are the 2 of 3 books that were released. They're associated with the Lore podcast. They also made a series for it on Amazon, all of which I highly recommend. I love the Lore podcast. And those 2 books in there are also like folklore and myths. Then we get into serial killer books here, as you can see. I have this book here that I got from the used bookstore that I don't know, I just really am interested in it. Apparently, according to my mom, my uncle, before he passed, was interviewing the Green River killer. He was a psychologist, my uncle, and for some study or something, which I thought was cool. His death is in no way related to the Green River killer. That, you know, I realized as I mentioned those 2 things together, that might sound weird, but but I just wanted to read more about the Green River killer in honor of my uncle. I know that's morbid, but you know. Then some books about death. Speaking about people dying, some books about death. This, me and my coworker, when we went to the used bookstore, she found this and she was like, Vicky, you have to get it. It basically just tells you about a bunch of different ways that you could have been killed or died. Is that English? I don't know. Basically have been killed or like executed, essentially. Like, yeah, it's about putting people to death. So, you know, obviously I'm interested in that. We got some books on the supernatural. I really need to take the dust jacket off of this and just trash it because the poor thing is just, yeah, really not looking great. So these are books about the supernatural here. This one's interesting too, spooky science. I think it's important to read books maybe from the point of view that you wouldn't necessarily. So this is like technically debunking like pseudoscience, like ghost hunting and things like that, but it's still super interesting. So I think it's important. Like I said, I think it's important to read from points of view that are not your own. It doesn't change my belief in ghosts and spirits at all. It's just found it super interesting. Anyways, now we're on to some little Halloween books I have. These are like the history of Halloween, a Halloween encyclopedia, also kind of chronicles the history, and then just some little poems all about Halloween. These little random bits right here are just some specialty magazines, like special releases, serial killers, haunted places, the history of the occult. It just fits in here, so I can't really pull it out. That's what she said, or he said. That's what anybody said. And then this is just a book. I think this is a mixture technically of fiction and nonfiction. I think mostly nonfiction about vampires. Macabrella also gave this to me. Basically, Macabrella, I think it was like 2 Halloweens ago, sent me a giant package of just all of these amazing things. So when I point out things that Macabrella gave me, they all came in the same package. She spoiled me very, very much. Okay, moving on to the bottom shelf of this last bookcase here. I just have, these are kind of like general books about film and horror film. Obviously, these ones are more like coffee table kind of books, like The Art of Horror Movies and The Art of Horror, both of which were Christmas gifts / birthday gifts to me from my brother. I put my little Vincent Price bust down here as it fits. These are kind of general books about horror movies here, with the exception of this. It's like specifically about zombies, but you know what I mean. And then these are some general books about film and film history from when I got my film studies degree. So yeah, from here over are all just general film. Moving on up. We have my little mini collection of Rue Morgue magazine, like specialty things that they put. I don't know if they still put these out. They used to come in, there was a subscription box that partnered with Rue Morgue a lot, and now I can't remember which subscription box it was. I'm sure one of you knows in the comments. But that's how I got all of these, with the exception of Women with Guts, which I bought myself because I just obviously really wanted that one. That's just a little popcorn bucket thing. Then this one, technically I would have put down here, the 101 horror movies you must see before you die, but it fit up here. So like I said, some of these I just had to put in kind of random order for space reasons. The rest of these shelves are kind of getting into more specifics about horror movies. So these are like books about specific types of movies. So these are like folklore and myth and witches and werewolves and vampires. Same with this, like seers, witches, and psychics on screen. Slasher movies. These are like my feminist horror books about like gender in horror films. Men, Women, and Chainsaws. That's a classic one. House of Psychotic Women. Then we have one little random book here, which is about a specific film, Hocus Pocus in Focus. I know you never thought anybody would write a nonfiction book about that movie, did ya? Then the rest of these here are specific directors. As you can see, we got Wes Craven facing out because I love Wes Craven. We have 2 books on Tim Burton. Both of these I got at Texas Frightmare Weekend. Half Price Books had a booth or a table, whatever you want to call it, and that's where I got these 2. Same with these 2 books also. This one I bought from work, Alfred Hitchcock. This is also about Alfred Hitchcock. And this one's about Rob Zombie. I think technically it's more about his music career, but he also is a horror director who I really, really love. So he goes on here with the rest of the horror directors. Then, just for space, another couple of special magazines. These are about horror movies specifically. The Art of Sleepy Hollow, more Tim Burton stuff. The Fear Makers, this is about multiple directors. So I kind of put it at the start, you know, a little bit separate from these. But this is also about horror directors, just about a whole bunch of them. Then I just got 2 little random guys here. This is Jovanka Vukovic. Am I saying her name right? Where the hell is it? Of course it's not gonna fucking say anywhere in the beginning. I'm pretty sure her first name is Jovanka. And then Seth Grahame-Smith, How to Survive a Horror Movie, which is like a kind of funny, humorous book. That's just technically it's a phone stand, like to charge your phone, hence why it's like RIP, because like when your phone is dead, you get it. These 3 books are specific countries, like books about specific countries' horror movies, obviously. This was a Christmas gift to me from my aunt and uncle, because I really love Korean horror, so it's a whole book about Korean horror cinema. These 2 are about US horror. This is post 9/11. About post 9/11 horror, and then Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue, which yes is associated with the documentary of the same name, which I also really love. These 2 are kind of memoir-ish books. The horror of it all is definitely a memoir of Adam Rockoff. This one I've talked about before, The Lady from the Black Lagoon. It is the story of Millicent Patrick, but it's told in kind of memoir-ish form. Like Mallory O'Meara, the author, is telling her story of how she learned about Millicent Patrick and stuff as we're learning about Millicent's life. So it's kind of memoir-ish. Then these next, this is just from a subscription box that I can't remember. These next ones are all about books. Obviously Monster, She Wrote, which is all about female horror and like science fiction authors. Horror, A Literary History, which was also from Macabrella in that package she sent me. Literary Witches. Paperbacks from Hell. This was actually a gift from Zachary Haith. Love you, Zachary. Also love you too, Macabrella. I don't think I mentioned that, but I do. Grady Hendrix, I have a lot of his books over there. Love Grady Hendrix. And these are just some random, I had to read these in school. How to Read Literature Like a Professor. How to Read a Novel Like a Professor, Thomas B. Foster. And he also wrote Reading the Silver Screen, which I thought was interesting too, so I picked that up forever ago. Okay. Oh, hey. What's up? I'll go over my posters and stuff here in a second, but really quick, I just wanted to go over the top here. Just from a subscription box, Billy from Scream. Funnily enough, my mom saw this and was like, ooh, who's that? Because it's like, it has a heart on it. Like, mom, it's a serial killer from a movie. Another fake plant just from Joanne. This is technically makeup brush or like a pen holder, but it's also a cute little decoration. Don't know why I was weird about explaining that. I can't remember where I got this print from. I got it from the same place I got this. Obviously, this is a Morticia Addams quote. This is obviously a Lydia Dietz quote. And then this little print. I used to get hors d'oeuvres forever ago. They were a super small subscription box thing. They didn't last very long, and they were super nice to me. They like reached out if you know I wanted to get their box. They sent me the first one for free, and then I paid for the rest of them, but they would send me occasionally these really nice things that were like personalized to me. I have another print that they made for me that I'll show you in a second, but I'm a sucker for stuff like this. I'm talking about people sending me things. I do have a P.O. box. I'll put it on the screen. Do you need to send me anything? No. Do I want you to buy me things to send me? No. But I am a sucker for stuff like this. Like if you want to draw me something, like I can't draw. This is great to me. I fucking love it. Or just like little like handwritten greeting cards. I'm a sucker for shit like that. So definitely send me those. But I don't want you to buy me anything to send me. Please don't spend your money on me. Anyways, really quick. I just got some prints hanging around my room. This is Gris Grimly. This is Cavity Colors, I think. This is from a subscription box that I can't remember. Also can't remember where I got this one from, but it's kind of a cool like Frankenstein skull. Flipping around really here. Cavity Colors. Lee Howard. Cavity Colors. And then this is another print that the nice people at Hors d'oeuvres drew for me. See, they personalized it again, which is just like, I'm a sucker for this. I'm a sucker for this sort of stuff. It's really sweet. Sorry, my battery's kind of running out. I need to change it. But this is all of my non-horror DVDs. So just, I mean, there's a whole bunch of little stuff in the way, but like kids movies, musicals, dramas, comedies, a lot of comedies, like action, adventure, fantasy ones, Christmas, Beavis and Butthead, and a random documentary. Okay, battery's dying. Let's move on to the movies. God, this video is so long. Welcome to probably the part that you wanted the most, the DVD and other knickknacks section of the tour. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around a lot. It's probably making you nauseous. All right, so we're gonna start up at the top here and come down. Yeah, so I kind of recently reorganized my DVDs. It was an exclusive video for my patrons because I was getting tired of them just being in alphabetical order and I wanted to try something different. So how I have them organized is, I guess, by subcategory. I basically went through all of my DVDs and I KonMari'd some of them and got rid of some of them that I just didn't want on here. And Eric was nice enough to take them off my hands. One of my patrons, Eric, and I looked at each of them and put them in categories based on like how I think of them, because some of them kind of, I would guess, fall into multiple categories, but these are how I think of them. So don't come for my organization system. This is how I think of the movies, what subcategory I would put them in. And that's what's important because it's my horror collection, right? So the first movies you see right here are animal horror movies. And the subcategories are alphabetized though, as you'll find out. But these first movies right here are animal horror movies. And next, as you can probably see, I have anthologies here. Some of these I haven't seen yet, like Chillerama, because Zachary sent me this along with that Dr. Sleep book, which was really nice of him. So these are anthologies. Love a good anthology. Then we have Asian horror, which incidentally is mostly Japanese horror, with like the exception of like two of them. My other Asian horror movies are in my favorites shelf, so but these are Asian horror movies. I also put the American remakes in here also, just because when, like I said, it's how I think of them. So when even if I want to watch like the American remake of The Grudge, I think of it as an Asian horror movie, even though it's not, because it's a remake of an Asian horror movie. Does that make sense? So even the American remakes, if I have them, are here. Then this very small 2 DVD section is cannibal horror movies, which I realize is kind of a spoiler for We Are What We Are. Sorry. Next, I have Christmas horror movies. Technically, some of these are anthologies, but like I said, it's the category that I thought of them first. Like Gremlins, I think of as a Christmas movie because it just takes place around Christmas time. So Christmas horror. Next are comedies. So horror comedies here. All Cheerleaders Die, The Frighteners, Ghostbusters, ya basics, you know, ya basics. All the way to Zombieland. You know. So these 3 DVDs right here, A Quiet Place, Bride of Frankenstein, and Chud. And then the rest of these, this stack right here, all the way up to Tusk, are creature features, what I consider creature features. So these are, some of these are technically, I guess, kind of like animal horror movies, some of them, but they're not like real animals, like Tremors. Sorry, I forgot to mention, I do have some Gremlins and Ghostbusters little bits and bobs from subscription boxes. God, why did I forget that term? From subscription boxes we've established I don't always know which ones I got them from. I know technically Shaun of the Dead is up there, but I didn't want the shelf to be too empty, so I moved them down here. Also from subscription boxes here. Okay, anyways, moving on. These 3 DVDs right here make up my creepy kid section. I do have some more creepy kid movies, but I categorize them in other places. So these are the 3 in my collection that I'm like, oh, creepy kid movies. Next, this whole stack right here from the Babadook up to Sinister, I consider demon horror movies. I don't think that's really a subcategory, but I've made it a subcategory. As you notice, the Evil Dead is down here. I have my little Evil Dead, I don't know what to call this. Figure, little diorama thing, I don't know. This I got from a BAM box, which that is the one subscription box that I did not pay for. It was sent to me. So this is like the one little figure that I have that was sent to me for free from a subscription box company. Anyways, these movies right in here are my disease horror movies. Some of these you're gonna hear me talk about very, very soon. In an upcoming video, which you will see. Hint, hint. Mayhem I just got. I obviously have seen it, but I just didn't own it on DVD. That was from Zachary again. Thank you, Zachary. This little stack right here I put as like extreme horror movies. So kind of like body horror, rape, revenge, just, why am I forgetting like Wolf Creek and Salt? What the fuck is the... Torture porn. God, why did I forget that term? Holy crap. Something's wrong with my brain this week. I don't know what's going on. Kind of extreme torture porn sort of stuff. Extreme is the category I'm thinking of in terms of alphabetization though. God. This is going to be such an uninteresting video just because my brain is refusing to function. Okay, these DVDs right here from Corpse Ride to The Witches are how I'm categorizing as family friendly is the category I'm going for. So they're more kid oriented, things that most of us watched as children, I would think. And even if you didn't watch them as children and you just watched them and love them as adults, that's fine too. But I think of them as family friendly horror movies. Next, from As Above, So Below to Willow Creek. If you're not noticing already the theme here, this is found footage. This giant stack that we have here, so from the Amityville Horror to The Woman in Black, are haunting movies. I think of them haunting, haunted house, whatever you want to call them. Sorry, Annabelle. I know technically like Annabelle could be like a demon movie or whatever, but same with like The Conjuring, but I just think of it as like a haunting movie. Speaking of Annabelle, this is my little Funko Pop of Annabelle. I did buy her. I got her and one other one because they were like on sale at Hot Topic forever ago. So, oh, it was Carrie. That was the other one I got. But yeah, so I bought her. Which, speaking of Carrie, this here, if you're not noticing the theme yet, is Stephen King. So these are Stephen King movies. Well, they're not his movies. He didn't direct them, but he wrote the books that they're based on. And this I got from a subscription box. This is like, it's like a bookmark, and I don't know if it's gonna, maybe if I put it up to a light. It's got like a little frame of film from the movie in it. Yeah, it's really hard to see on camera. But it is a frame of Carrie looking up at her mother in that awful scene where her mom is like reciting her like crazy Bible verses, like right before she locks her in the closet for the first time in the movie. So that's what that is. And then I got my little Funko of Carrie, which I bought with Annabelle, because they were on sale at Hot Topic, like I said. Okay. These two lonely DVDs here are my musical horror movies: Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror Picture Show, classics. Then these 4 DVDs right here are Poe, as in Edgar Allan Poe. I think these 2 movies were part of that package that Ma Cabrella was so kind to send to me. Sci-fi horror movies, starting with Alien right here, as evidenced by my Ripley and Xenomorph figures. Both of these came in subscription boxes that I can't remember. This one's The Void. If you can't really tell, it's really hard to read that DVD on the side. Alrighty, coming down to this shelf. I'll give you a second to take a look and figure out what movies these are. Let's see. They're slasher movies, and this one makes up actually quite a big portion. It's this stack, these movies, and this stack right here. So from here over are all the slasher movies. You'll notice just a lot that you guys all know and love. Obviously Friday the 13th I feel like sticks out a lot. Halloween, Hatchet, My Bloody Valentine. I got little duders sitting around for all of these. Some little figures up here too. You know, ya basics. Ya basics. I got a lot of the Friday the 13th movies from Gory Bee Movie of the Horror Addicts. Actually, she sent me a little collection of movies that she was just looking to get rid of from her horror shelf. So she was kind enough just to send them my way. I can't remember every single one she sent me, but I definitely remember she sent me Friday the 13th and one other one, which we'll get to in a second. It's on the next shelf. But thank you, Gory, for that. And then these 2 movies and this little stack right here are my thrillers, which it's basically me reorganizing these DVDs, which helped me kind of understand the thriller designation a little bit. Because I used to be a naysayer, like, thrillers are horror movies, but I'm starting to understand it a little bit better, and reorganizing my DVDs helped me with that. So I don't know who to thank for that, but you know, thank myself for reorganizing my DVDs. Okay, this is the last shelf here. You guys probably see this the least amount of times because of the way my camera angle is when I'm filming. This is the bottom shelf. As you can tell from this stack of DVDs right here, these are the vampire movies. Whole lot of Draculas, 30 Days of Night. They're all the kind of like your basic creature movies, I feel like, that make up the last bit of this. Because then we got werewolf movies, which are right in here. Cursed was one of the ones that Gory Bee Movie sent along my way. Which is not a good movie, but it's a great movie, if you know what I mean. Then we have witch horror movies. We got our witches, of course. Fun fact, Satan's Children, this is an awful movie. But I went to a screening and like a panel of this at the Tampa Theater because this was filmed in Tampa, which is pretty cool. And there is some shots of downtown Tampa in the movie, which was interesting to see. It's a horrible movie, but it was fun to watch with an audience. Okay, and then, of course, with our little zombie girl here, these are zombie horror movies, which are mostly made up of George A. Romero's films. I don't own a whole lot of zombie movies. Just because I just don't. These are my favorites shelf. This entire shelf are all my favorites here. So these first ones here are all kind of like ranked, I guess, like Scream being my favorite horror movie, followed by Trick or Treat, House of a Thousand Corpses, The Evil Dead, Devil's Rejects, Beetlejuice, The Craft, Blair Witch Project, The Strangers, Paranormal Activity, What We Do in the Shadows. There you go. That's my top 10 horror movies, which I did do a video on that, and I'll link it up at the top if you want to hear me talk about them at length. I do kind of have them organized a little bit. So after that are kind of like nostalgic favorites. Like here, from Twister to Halloween Town are all kind of like nostalgic favorites. Are some of these great movies? No. A lot of them are fantastic movies. Some of these are not that great. Queen of the Damned and Stay Alive. I'm looking at you. And maybe some of you would say House of Wax, but I love them, and they're movies I love primarily because of nostalgia, because I used to watch them a lot when I was a kid. Obviously stuff like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas. But you get it. Oh, sorry. And I have like a little Funko Pop I got from work of Oogie Boogie. There's a little Norman Bates dressed as Mrs. Bates there, which I got in a subscription box, and a little Pennywise, which I got from work. Okay, just move them out of the way really quick so we can look at the rest of these. Okay, so from Behind the Mask to Psycho are like favorites that are kind of before my time-ish, with the exception of like Dead Alive and In the Mouth of Madness, which were technically released after I was born. Well, Dead Alive was released the year I was born. In the Mouth of Madness is 94, I think. But they're favorites of mine, even though actually Behind the Mask might have been, I can't remember when that came out. I think it was in the aughts. But these are kind of like oldie favorites. So these are ones that I discovered like way after the fact. Obviously stuff like Nosferatu, I discovered way after the fact, but are now favorites. Followed by The Cabin in the Woods, all the way down to 31, which I guess would be like modern favorites-ish. So these are ones that I watched as they came out and are favorites. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And to end out the section, these 4 DVDs here are my Asian horror favorites. So it's Battle Royale. You can't really see because of the wire here. This is I Saw the Devil, Train to Busan, and The Wailing, which are some of my all-time favorite movies ever. Okay, let me put... Oh wait, no. You were here in front of Psycho, and you were here in front of It. Okay, bottom shelf is kind of a hodgepodge of things. So it starts off here. Oops, sorry, creature. It starts off here with documentaries that I have. I don't know if it's weird to like keep documentaries because like I don't watch them all the time, but I don't know. I just like having horror documentaries. So that's what these are. All horror documentaries. Then I have my like collections here, as you can see. So these are like 50 horror classics, a collection of 10 movies, some classic horror movies, a Wes Craven collection, Creature from the Black Lagoon, hence my little plushie that sits down here. This is an Elvira collection, Alfred Hitchcock, some box sets like It's Alive, just a random 3 DVD Stanley Kubrick collection, Vincent Price, and then it ends out with some TV. So this is my giant, mega Charmed series box set, which is presented in a Book of Shadows, which is kind of freaking epic. Look how amazing that is. I know I've talked about this before, but I love it. It's just, I love it. It does have a few pages, and then it gets into the actual DVDs, but it's the entire series, which I've already seen like 8 million times, but I just wanted, that was a treat to myself when I bought that because that was amazing. And then I have Ash vs. the Evil Dead, Addams Family, and the Monsters down here, hence my little Morticia and Wednesday Funko Pops, which I did buy from work. Okay. Moving on here, I just have a little Zero plushie right here. I'm just going to go over some of my little bits and bobs really quick. That's just a light box I got from work. I'm not going to point my camera at it too much because, yeah, the light. Here's a card that Oleg sent me. Sorry, let me like actually get it so where you can see it. He sent me a little greeting card that he wrote in. Like, you don't have to buy me things, but if you want to send me like a greeting card or whatever, I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for it. Okay, just some little figures I have here. These are both from Crypto Curium, which I used to get. I think, what was the box called? It was a Box of Dread. Or was it? No. I can't remember what his subscription box was called, but it's from the Crypto Curium. You can go to that website. Yeah, he created like a specialty box that was like quarterly. It was called Order of the Thinned Veil, which was for like super Halloween lovers. And of course I joined that. And yeah, I fucking love this like statue thing. It's amazing. And it's handmade and it's fucking killer. It's amazing. That's just a little light up tree that the batteries are dead on, so it's not lit up. I'm sorry. I just have some random little things in the back. Lee Howard. I think that was from Spooky Box Club, from Spirit Halloween. Matches the pillows I have on my bed. And Spooky Box Club. I think that was from like Michael's, this little like rat thing, Michael's or Joanne or something like that. Somewhere from Etsy that I can't remember. If that stand up. This is a like little coffin shaped thing that opens, and I added lights to it, which are also out of batteries that I need to replace, otherwise it'd be lit up. And to cover the battery packs in there, I put this postcard that Oleg also sent me. He didn't write on it or anything, but so I put him there. Love you, Oleg. This little section here is kind of like my trick or treat love section. I have two little figures of Sam here. This is from Etsy, I think, that I can't remember. This is just a bottle from like Joann's that I filled with sand to stick my two trick or treat lollipops in. I honestly can't remember where I bought these from. This came in a subscription box also. Can't remember which one. This amazing Sam figure is from Zachary Haith, which like, bruh, like I still can't believe you sent me this one. This is so cool. So this is like my little trick or treat section. Okay, moving on. I have a little Scream section here. I did have a random collection of the first 3 movies. I have the individual, you saw the individual Blu-rays down here, but I just had this random 3 movie collection, so I thought I would put this in with my other Scream stuff. Obviously The Mask, which you guys are familiar with. It's always in my background. I have a little figure right here. These are technically supposed to be salt and pepper shakers. I got them in a subscription box. It says Craven Extra instead of Corona Extra, Scream and Salt and Pepper, and the caps are made to be like salt and pepper shakers, but obviously I don't use them for that. They just sit back here. And then this is a candle that B, aka Darling Darkness, who you're probably used to seeing her as, sent me. I don't know where she got it from, but it's one of those like candles that like when you start to burn it, like it starts to melt like black wax like out the eyes and mouth of like the ghost face. But I don't want to burn it because then I wouldn't have it anymore, and I love it. It's so cool. So I just let it sit on my shelf. I hope you don't mind, B, that I don't want to burn it. I'm sorry. It would look really cool, but then I wouldn't have the candle anymore. So there you go. Okay, then let me just get the ghost face mask. What is with my brain today? Out of the way. I have a little Dracula section here. I just put like this little duder from a subscription box. I think he lights up. Just gonna move them out of the way really quick, and a little Funko that I got from a subscription box. This is part of that box I was telling you that Macabrella sent me. These last couple items that I mentioned she got me are just like, again, kind of like the Sam figure that Zachary got me. I'm still in awe that you like sent these to me. These are like official movie adaptations, like comic book adaptations of the Dracula. Oh God, what year was it? 1991? Is that when that movie came out? Or 92? The one with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. As you can like recognize, I'm sure. So there's 4 in total, and she sent me all 4. And I don't want to take them out of the packaging. I didn't want to, so I wanted to put them on display. So they're just on little book stands right here. The other 2 are back here. That's so generous. I can't believe you sent me those. Sorry, I'm in awe of that. Then randomly, just some Scooby-Doo love down here. This, I think, was a BAM box, and the inside of the box looked like that, and it gave you instructions on how to fold it, so it looked like the Mystery Machine. So that's what that is, and a little Scooby plushie, which I think Macabrella also sent me. I just have some random plushies down here. Frank and Weenie, and I can't remember the girl dog's name. I'm sorry. And this is a candle that has been burned almost beyond recognition. It's got Morticia and Gomez in it from the TV show. And then I have a little Poe shelf right here. This is just a random candle I think I got from Barnes & Noble long before I worked at Barnes & Noble. It's got the Raven on it. It's words from the Raven. This is from Horror Dervs also. They sent this whole thing. It was like, it came with the little easel and everything. It was so freaking cute. It was, can you focus, camera, please? It's Edgar Allan Poe done in the style of Edvard Munch's, I think that's the, is that his first name? Edvard? Scream. The Scream painting. You guys all know that painting. You can tell from it. And again, just personalized it to me because they know I love Edgar Allan Poe. They know I love Scream. And they wrote on the back, for the rare and radiant Maven. Like, just how sweet is that? I am a sucker for shit like that. That is so nice. And then this is like a illustrated like picture book sort of thing for some of Edgar Allan Poe's poems, of course, including The Raven and some other poems. Let me open it up. You can see, just looks super cool. This is one of the things that Macabrella sent me. Extremely generous of her. I'm in awe of you, Macabrella. I'm in awe of all of you that send me things. I can't believe you guys send me things. Like, that's just blows my mind. Obviously, I'm at a loss for words. And then I have up here a little witchcraft section, I guess. This is just that little light up. Whoa, that made the camera weird. Light up crystal ball with a little pentacle in it that I got from Spirit Halloween after Halloween when it was super on sale. And then I have next to it my little propped up copy of Fangoria magazine. Fangoria. Wow, my brain. What is going on today? I can't even talk. And as you can tell, this obviously isn't a recent edition of Fangoria. It says now in our 17th year. This is from when the craft came out, which, what the fuck, Macabrella, seriously. Again, did not want to take it out of the packaging, so I just left it. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you just like had that and gave it to me, or, I'm gonna turn this off, or if you bought that specifically for me, but that's also incredibly really nice. Okay, so that's my set. That's everything. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. If you made it this far, or if you skipped ahead, I guess, comment, I love Wes Craven, or work that into your comment somewhere so I know that you've made it this far, or at least you skipped to the end. Really quick, I want to thank my creepy patron peeps for their support of my channel. Thank you guys so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep yourself, you can follow that link in the description. And if you just watched this monster of a video, I love you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe if you're lurking and you haven't yet. Why not? Tell me why. Actually, do tell me why in the comments. I'm curious. That sounded really conceited. I just want to know. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm not conceited, I promise. And yeah, you should subscribe and become a creepy peep today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.